Hey there, third grade. This is Mr. Campbell. We are getting started today on page 129. We're going to be doing lesson 4.4, which is use multiplication to divide with 8 and 9. At the end of this, we want to be able to say, I can divide by 8 and 9 by thinking about how I multiply with those numbers. So we're going to be talking about how we can use multiplication to divide, specifically using facts of 8 and 9. So that's what we're going to jump into. Go ahead and turn with me to the next page, page 130, as we get started. All right, so here we are on page 130, and just like we've been doing the last few days, we're going to be using multiplication to work on our division. So take a look up here at the problem. I've got my pen because it shows up a little bit better on the video. I hope you've got your pencil with you because we're going to go ahead and get started. Now remember, whenever I'm writing things on here, I want you writing them in yours as well. So make sure you've got your pencil ready to go. If for some reason you need to get up and go get a tissue or sharpen your pencil, pause the video, and then when you come back, press play again because we don't want you to miss any of the lesson. It says John has 56 straws. We're going to underline the numbers, right? So 56. He needs 8 straws to make a spider. So underline 8 straws. How many spiders can John make? Find, and we're going to circle this, find 56 divided by 8. We underline the important information and circle our question. And there's no question mark because it's just giving us a direction, which is to find 56 divided by 8. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more for us. There we go. It's a little bit better. So what they're asking here is they're asking us to start with our 56 straws and divide it by 8 straws to make those spiders. So here they've drawn their model here. So 56 straws is how many we have. And they're saying how many boxes of 8 could we do to make that whole group? All right. But another way to think about that is, well, what number times 8 is 56? And I'm going to grab my fact triangle here because when we've got a division problem like we've got up here, 56 divided by 8, my largest number is going to go on top. So 56 is going to go up on top, and 8 will be over here. And remember that these are multiplication and division fact families. So 8 times what will give me that 56? Well, if I know my 8 facts, then I'll know that 8 times 7 will give me that 56, okay? So those 8 facts help us out to be able to divide. So if 8 times 7 is 56, then 56 divided by 8 is going to be 7. Let's go down to box B. Box B says, Luz made 9 animals. She used 54 straws. She used the same number of straws for each animal. How many straws did Luz use for each animal? And so in here, we're going to underline 9 animals and 54 straws. And then we're going to circle our question, which is how many straws does Luz need? The reason we circle those and underline those, these are our 2 numbers that are going to create our division problem. And then we want to find how many straws did Luz use for each animal, right? So we're going to find 54 divided by 9. All right. And as you can see down here, it says 9 times what number is 54? Because we can take our 54 divided by 9 and flip it around into a multiplication problem. So our 54 is going to be our product. Our 9 is going to be our first factor. So 9 times what gives us 54? And they've already written it in here for us. 9 times 6 is 54. So you can see here, 54 divided by 9 equals 6. Luz used 6 straws for each animal. All right. This is the skill we're working on, is can we use multiplication to solve these division problems? Because they are all connected and all work together. So let's go ahead and go to the next page. This is page 131. And we're going to go ahead and check out numbers 3 and number 4. All right. Number 3 says 16 divided by 8 equals what? Well, it says what number times 8 is 16? So I've got my fact triangle here. All right. Well, what's the largest number? Well, in a division problem, I always start with that. So that's what's going on top of my fact triangle. My 8 is going to go down here because this is one of the 2 factors, the 2 things that I'm multiplying together to get to that 16. So I can say 8 times what will equal 16? Let's see. Do you know what that is? 8 times... Well, this is 8 times 2 is 16. Which means that on my paper here, grab your pencil right now. Again, whenever I'm writing on here, you're writing with me. So we're going to say 2 times 8 equals 16 because 2 times 8 equals 16. Which also means that if I start at 16 and slide down to 8, what am I left with? 16 divided by 8 is equal to 2. All right? So that's how we can solve that problem. All right. Check out number 4. Number 4 says 64 divided by 8 equals what? And then it says what number times 8 is 64? So blank times 8 equals 64. What will that be? I'm going to ask you to go ahead and pause your video right now. Go ahead and pause it and solve this problem. And then I'm going to ask you what number goes in here. All right, I hope you paused your video and were able to answer that question. So 64 divided by 8. All right, so I've got 64 up on top. I've got my 8 over here on the side. All right, so I'm saying 8 times what will give me 64? Well, this is kind of a tricky problem, isn't it? We already knew that 8 times 2 was 16, so it's going to be a much larger number than that. So what number would that be? Well, 8 times 8 is 64. This is a doubles fact, 8 times 8. All right, so 8 times 8 equals 64. So what do I put here? I put my 8. So 64 divided by 8 is equal to 8. All right. All right, well, let's go ahead and come down to, we're going to skip over numbers 5, 6, and 7. You should be able to do those in just a little bit on your own. We've got our normal problems down here. Now, I want to go over one of them before you guys get started on your own here, okay? So the one that we're going to do together right now is going to be number 9. Now, if you know your 9's facts and your 8's facts, then these might work out really well. But I'm going to take a look here, and it says 72 divided by 9 is equal to what? Well, if I want to use multiplication, then I'm going to rewrite this problem, and I want you to try this with me, and I'm going to flip it around like this, and I'm going to put my 72 as my answer, and my 9 is my first product, and I need to figure out what goes in right there. All right? So I'm going to say, well, 9 times what will get me to 72? 9 times what? Well, if you know your 9's facts, 9 times 8 is 72. All right? Well, up here, I've used my 72. I've used my 9. So the last thing I need to use is going to be my 8. All right? One last one, because I just want to show you, again, how we can use our fact triangles if you like that instead. So we're going to jump down here to number 15. I'm going to go ahead and draw a triangle. Would you please draw a triangle with me? Even if you're like, I don't love that triangle, just try it out with me. And then later when you get to work on your own, you don't have to use those if you don't like. For this one, remember, the dividend, the number we start, is in the middle. So that's going to be at the top of my triangle, so 32. My 8 is the divisor, so that's going to come over here. And I need to figure out, well, what will this last one be, the quotient? Well, I can flip this around and say 8 times what will give me 32? 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 4 is 32, which means that 32 divided by 8 is going to be 4. And so my answer would go up on top. All right, there we go. That is what we've got for today. These are how you can use multiplication to solve a division problem. So if we can study those multiplication facts, then we will be able to do our division just like we were working on today. All right, well, I want to say thank you so much for working with me today. Third grade, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and we will see you next time.